Hi there, it's Kevin with Gonro Games here with another Pokemon massive break, box open, whatever you want to call it. We're still trying to figure out how we want to do these in the future, whether they be live stream or if we should just continue to showcase these over videos. But Pokemon, let's break some Pokemon Paradox Rift and talk about the Pokemon market. This video is sponsored by Tabien. I bullied him into box opening a Paradox Rift bundle booster box and the other bundle to see what's inside of these and see if we can get any of the good pulls from Paradox Rift. So before we get started, let me adjust some lighting here. As I think that's a little bit better. That's a little better. There we go. That's not as exposed. Pokemon. I don't know what to say, kids. I think Pokemon is in worse shape than Magic the Gathering as far as the secondary market is concerned. I know that Pokemon is enjoying the fact that everyone is being their cheap little mules to basically move their product for them. But if you thought that Magic the Gathering was oversaturated with sellers and people that are making absolutely no money selling Magic the Gathering, Pokemon is in, I would say, 10 times worse shape. The game is not in bad shape as far as sales are concerned. It's actually incredibly hot. There are still many sales per day on eBay and TC Player. I mean, it's at almost its peak. It's like, well, of course, nothing is going to be like the 2020 era of free money. I mean, we are never ever going to replicate that time period again. It's not going to happen. There has to be just some sort of, and we don't want another catastrophic event that leads to that. We need a healthy market to get back to normal so we can actually see just a normal market for once, and then we can start seeing like Pokemon make profits for stores and sellers. But the problem with that entire time period is it led to so many people that started TCG player stores and what I like to call, again, I've made war with a lot of people. I know many of you may be subscribed to me, many of you might be fans of mine, but I've kind of made war with what I call the soulless online sellers because what they've done to the collectible markets have just, again, it's just so saturated with sellers that nobody is making money off of this stuff right now, and it sends a missed signal to the manufacturers that they're like, okay, we need to keep printing into this, as you know, there's a huge demand for it, but where the demand is actually going is just people trying to hoard it and sell it, and we're really starting to see that come to a breaking point with Pokemon. With Scarlet and Violet, has not recovered yet. It's now 4 sets old. And we've seen this in the past with Pokemon. The problem with Pokemon, it always has these massive ebbs and flows of where it's unpopular and extremely popular. I wouldn't even say unpopular, but they go through periods of overprinting. Then they have to tighten their belts. And then the market goes back up. And then they get this, then they undersell. And then the market spikes up. And then they, again, oversell. It is the weirdest pendulum that always happens with Pokemon. We've been here before with this. So, I mean, playing the long game historically has always paid off for Pokemon. You remember like the times with Burning, what was the Burning set that was one of the worst sets sold of all times? And I'm trying to think of the other one too. Steam Siege and the Burning Shadows, those are the two that were awful. And there was a time period too where distributors were blowing these things out for like, I mean, they're like blowing Pokemon boxes out for like $40. I mean, it was bad during that time period, and then it recovered. But we do find ourselves in a period where Pokemon is just absolutely, they've just overprinted, and the supply is just through the roof with all of these. I have never seen so many boxes up for the what I call the break-even point or even lose a little bit of money on TCG players. So boxes are currently going for Paradox Rift for like 105, and that's about my cost of what it costs after all the shipping, all the distributor fees. To get it in your hands, it cost me about $105 for the Pokemon. So I am probably going to take a hiatus from Pokemon. This was an all-time low for pre-orders for Paradox Rift, and it also is not selling at my store. It hasn't set, the set releases this Friday, but I mean, we already have like massive orders at this point for most sets that are, and people wanting to attend events. All of that locally is dried up. I know that that's probably the exception because I still hear that Pokemon has record numbers at pre-releases and record numbers at like events, and those are still strong. However, since we, have to dip into the online market, and so how I like to run the local game stores, I like to buy products that if I have to, I can at least break even or get back my money if I have to go the online route. Unfortunately, Pokemon is going the way of the dinosaur with that right now, and so I'm at a crossroads here if I'm even going to offer this anymore to patrons or even order any Pokemon in the foreseeable future, because 151 has absolutely crashed too. So we have a lot of dead products sitting on the shelf from Scarlet and Violet. We still have even clear back to like Fusion Strike era, Battle Styles. All of that is still. I've even noticed like sets like Darkness Ablaze and I'm trying to think of the other one that have gone down recently in the past couple weeks, months, and all that stuff is just a very very worrisome sign for Pokemon, especially when they're doing basically their Magic 40 nonsense or Magic 30 nonsense with their Classics battle that sells for like $400. This can be released on the market. So again, there just doesn't seem to be any enticing products at the moment for Pokemon. And at this point, it's just going to have to be a business decision unless I can get a lot more patrons that are willing to take product. And because that's the problem that we were having, we were so cut on 151 because we didn't buy enough product. And so I tried to order more Paradox Rift, and now nobody wants it. And so, like, I am sick of carrying the bags for it. I'm sick of the one that ends up with the having to cut losses on stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what to do about Pokemon, but I appreciate Tabian for sponsoring this video now that we're like 6 minutes into the explanation. But you guys are here for like the story of the behind the scenes kind of story of running a business and whatnot. So maybe you enjoy my little rants rather than if you're here just to look at a box opening, maybe I'm not the right channel for you. There are people with more booms and bangs and things that show up on the screen that make it probably more enjoyable. But if you do like these box cracks from someone that does like to talk about the market, be sure to give a like and a subscribe. These are by far my lowest viewed videos, and they take a lot of time to produce too. So anyway, let's start off here with the Elite Trainer box. Particularly, I still like Pokemon. It's fun to play. It's no Magic, but it's fun to brew decks in Pokemon like it is in Magic. Unfortunately, I think Pokemon suffers from like net decking, tier decking as bad as Magic does. And typically speaking, the formats get solved pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and look what is in these good old boxes and see if they've changed anything up. Nope, it's still these. I wonder if the old school ones will ever be worth more money. I don't think anyone needs to see my ugly mug anymore. So let's go ahead and turn this off. And that way you can get a better full picture of what we are looking at here. So we have the sleeves, which those are kind of, I don't know. I don't like the color combination of it. But some people might. And the good old dividers. The dividers in the sleeves. And we have the promo for the Iron Bundle. So I think this is one of the problems too with what Pokemon is having with a lot of the recent sets. Like, look at Obsidian Flames with the Chase card being Charizard, and then they go ahead and do an EX box like a month later that just guarantees a Charizard in them. And they're doing it with this set too. The two major pulls, like the two cards that everyone wants out of Paradox Rift, they're going to be doing EX boxes for them. So that kind of kills the value of chasing those cards. And I know that people really want the kind of full art stuff and the more collectible stuff, but Pokemon has kind of shifted between what it used to be as a collectible, like an extreme collectible where no one is really playing the game, to where now like more people are actually playing the game and less people are collecting. So utility matters more in Pokemon than it did, because they didn't even focus on utility. What I mean by utility is people actually playing with the cards, so people needing cards for decks. And that used to be utility used to be what drove Magic. The price in Magic the Gathering. And in Pokemon, it never really did. It was always collectible. You'd have cards that saw zero play. They would be the chase cards out of a set. So, but that's shifting. So we have our little land pack here that no one cares about. And that's shifting with Pokemon. So I think they need to be worried about these EX boxes. I think they can't be doing that as much as they used to. I mean, you'd say, well, utility, people will need to pick up these EX boxes. Yeah, we'll sell EX boxes. But, I mean, this is the problem that Magic is having, is your greatest competitor in Pokemon and Magic is not other games. It's your own product. So if you produce too many competing products, all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot, because now people aren't going to buy the kind of the products that are considered not as good as the other products. So it will lead all the sales to those EX boxes because you get a guaranteed Charizard, and then no one wants to buy the booster boxes because now there's nothing to chase for. Anyway, let's get on to this. Kevin has ranted for long enough. As everyone's like, already 9 minutes, time to open up a pack, Kevin. We get a trainer gallery right off the bat with a Rika, or good old Rika. And we also get this Brute Bonnet. And that's, I don't know what this ancient, someone explain this. I'll have to read the set and see what these ancient versus future do. But there we have it with the, do those go, yeah, that is a rare. That is kind of cool, though. The new age Pokemon is so easy to tell, you know, what's like a double rare and a rare off in the good old corners there. So we get a awesome pack 1 pull from the Elite Trainer. We have Tanimos and a Morpeko, just a Morpeko. With if this Pokemon has no energy attached to it, has no retreat cost. Okay, you can 2 Mood. I always like to look at Dark because I play Dark to see if any of these cards will actually see play in my Darkrai deck. Move 2 energy from this Pokemon on your bench. That's actually kind of cool. So you can throw some things on it and then move some energy over. I think that's a pretty neat little ability. Okay, so we'll throw our pulls over here to the side so people can see our pulls. All right, so on to the next pack, we have Flittle. And if you want to sponsor a booster box opening, I might have to do like a list of when I can do these because it's hard for me to actually find time. Oop, we got a Mewtwo EX, which is a Lightning Mewtwo, huh? Mewtwo EX, which uses Psychic Energy, but it's a Lightning type. 30 more damage for each energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So it actually looks like it could work. And it's a basic. This could actually work in the Gardevoir deck, huh? Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Other than I think the other ones do more initial damage, but definitely another. There's tons of those right now that do basically the same thing for moving psychic energy over. But anyway, if you do want a sponsor box opening, I think I'm gonna have to like do a list of times I can do stuff. And again, I probably need to be better with my thought process and make these more entertaining to get people to actually watch these because I don't want to do these, oversaturate the channel with too many, product openings. So again, let me know in the comments how well you like these or if you just like my more of the ranting in the point and shoot style videos. So I try to add context to this because if you notice it about me, I absolutely hate what I call spam. So there are so many YouTube channels that just do things like this with box openings, add absolutely what I call no content to it. So I don't want to create more noise already in the kind of sea of noise that exists in the YouTubes and the things. So when I try to create videos, I try to actually add some sort of value, some sort of context. But when I used to Magic the Gathering finance videos, what used to really, really grind my gears is when people would just like, here are the top 10 cards that went up this week. And it's like literally just showing them and then showing how much their price went up. I'm like, wow, cool. You added so much to the discussion by basically copy pasting it. You turned a text file that you found on like Goldfish or TC Player onto a video and added absolutely no, content to it or analysis or anything. And man, Magic the Gathering got so saturated with that. Same thing with people doing like tier decks. I'm like, cool. We got to watch, someone play the exact same tier deck over and over. And same thing, like the people who play tier decks and actually give analysis, that's fine. Like I'm all for that, but it was like there's just so much noise in the YouTube sphere, whatever you want to call it, of people just doing what I call the kind of the clickbaity, zero context, zero analysis videos. And we're starting to see that with AI now, like people doing all those dumb AI videos that it's like, geez, I already have to click through so much spam to get to the info that I want. So hopefully people appreciate my off-the-cuff ranting and kind of speaking my mind because, I don't know, I think YouTube needs more of that and less of the kind of the BuzzFeed type videos. Anyway, let's get back to opening up some packs. We get the Ancient Booster Capsule, Energy Capsule in the foil, and a Xatu. So there's a lot of, okay, I thought this one, okay. That one's cool. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, you may draw 2 cards. Wow, and that's a stage 1 though, so you got to get this up to stage 1. Some cool cards. I'll have to look at the spoilers. Like I really do still like brewing in Pokemon. It's a fun little game to brew with. I kind of feel like it's like Commander. Like it's fun to actually build combinations of deck, but the gameplay of Pokemon is pretty crazy. It has a lot of RNG factors to it, and a lot of terrible matchups too, where you have 0 chance of winning. So, but I'll play it. I think it's a pretty fun one. All right, so we got the good old player's guide for the bundle number 2 for the Paradox Rift with the, I don't know, what is this guy? Looks like almost Zapdos, but I should learn my Pokemon. So what do we got in this one? We got the good old, those ones are cooler. I like these ones. I like the blue on yellow. I think those are very pretty. And where's the sleeves in here? The sleeves, though, are like red. Why'd they decide to go red with these? I do not like the red on the blue. I guess because the outline is red. I don't know. I would have liked to see just, yeah, no border, maybe. I'm not sure if they could do that. So let's go on to the promo card. Is a Streamtail. A Streamtail. Or Screamtail. Scream, not stream. Scream. Kevin can read. I have very good reading comprehension skills. And the dice are the same except for the red dice in there. So I'm not going to break those out. And let's see what we have in here. So that first one, we only got 2 hits. So let's see if this one can be a little bit better. I'm not sure how well Mewtwo's actually, how it is demand for it. I didn't see it on the list when I was looking. All right, so we had the Iron Valiant. I believe this was in like a full art. This is one of the ones that people were going after. Once per turn, when the Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may put 2 damage counters on it. You may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay, so it can go right from your bench to the active spot and already get the 20 damage basically. And then it can do 200 for 3 and can't attack. But it is a basic, and that's kind of cool because you could just move it in and do some damage, and then switch it. I guess if you have ways to switch your Pokemon, the retreat cost is pretty high on this sucker. But if there is ways you could get off a little bit of damage for it. It's got a nice little body for 220 though for a basic. So we have the Iron Valiant. So we got our first hit out of the ETB. Next up, we have a Luxurious Cape. Would I look good in that? The Cyclozar. Kevin Durant. And then another Xatu. So we're already hitting like multiples of the same rare in these Elite Trainers. Alrighty, so we got the Oricorio. Oop, let's get the codes. Sorry, I'm not showing the codes because I think Tabian wants the codes. So we get the Hoopa EX. There we go. So it's a dark with the fisting energy with dark. So this attack does 50 more damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. And your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Benefit for 200. But it can actually, it punishes the Gardevoir decks. And it's a basic too. So it can one-shot those type of decks that are like building up on Pokemon. So anti-Darkrai actually, because that's what Darkrai wants to do. So there's the Hoopa. So 2 hits, 2 packs, 2 hits. Or did we not hit a pack? I'm already off packs here. Got the little Horsia. And nothing. We got the Garganacl. Next up. Let's go for another beautiful hit. We have hit only besides just the regular basic. Yeah, we've only hit the Rika. That's it. That's all we hit for the specialty cards so far. So that's why people like to go the booster box, because don't you guarantee one out of booster box? Secret rare or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think you do get one per box. Unless there's some printing issues. The Thievul. When you play this Pokemon for hand, evolve when your Pokemon. You may have your opponent reveal their hand and choose 2 energy cards and shuffle them into their opponents. That's pretty brutal. If you can get this out on turn number 2, you can get rid of 2 energies, make them shuffle it in. So, pretty brutal. But you need like scoop up net type cards to then abuse it later on. Alrighty. On to the next pack. We have an Espartha. Espartha is not going to get us there. So far, pretty lackluster pulls, I would say, or maybe not. Kapow. Tinglu. Good old Tinglu. Last pack from the ETB. And then we'll go through the booster box pretty quickly. I think we're going through these packs at a decent speed. So, again, I'd like to hear everyone else's thoughts on Pokemon. Am I there's another Xatu. Geez, this sucker's common at this point. Am I not um, analyzing it correctly, what do you think about the future of Pokemon? Like, I'm scared of it. That's why I'm just backing off. So I will order. There's one distributor I just take whatever because I'm trying to build my Pokemon numbers up, but it's usually just like a case. They like send like one of everything, like a case of everything, like a case of ETBs, a case of, and it's just to keep my numbers high with it. But I'm not going to use like the alternate distributors. And if you are a patron, I think if it's just going to be best to then allow people to just order what they want after the pre-order. But I'm not gonna, like, it's been so weird with Pokemon because I never know what I'm gonna get to begin with. So I'll put in for like I with ETBs I put in for like 100 of them, got like, 16, and then now they're still trickling in because a lot of times what you do with distributors is you order, and whatever they can't get you on pre-order they put on your back order. There are a couple distributors that don't do that, but there's two of them that I buy Pokemon from that absolutely do that. So if you commit to a pre-order, they are basically saying, okay, it's not just a pre-order; it's whenever we can get these suckers for you, we will, ship them. And so I'm still receiving Pokemon 151 UPC. So if you are in the market for a Pokemon 151 UPC, please buy some of my UPCs. They cost me like $85 too. I got kind of gouged on them for how much they cost from the cheap distributor versus how much they cost from an expensive distributor. So nothing on the first poll. So again, we'll have to have a talk. We'll have to have a heart-to-heart about where to go with this old Patreon for Pokemon because I'm pretty frustrated with it. So the problem is too, like, people only want it when it's hot. So I need more like players with Pokemon. It seems to be, there we go. We got the Brute Bonnet. It seems to be like players are a lot less picky with pricing, like paying like, $5 more than, the cheapest, because they, just want the product and they're going to be playing with it. Whereas people that are trying to flip boxes, of course, $5, $10 when it goes up, or if it's selling for near distributor price and they can't make money on it, then of course they don't want to take a lot of the product they order, and then I get stuck with it. So, yeah, again, we're going to have a nice little heart-to-heart with where to go with Pokemon. I've absolutely quit doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Completely quit doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Will not even pre-order it, so I am sorry. I've been stuck with Yu-Gi-Oh! Too many times, and I have no market for it here locally. So, and that's one that gets crushed. We got the Garchomp, the good old Garchomp, the EX320 with a fist attached with 3 fighting energies from your discard pile to bench Pokemon any way you like. It only costs 1 to actually get it. I guess it's an EX though. And discard 200 from the Pokemon. This deck does 120 to one of your opponent's Pokemon, so you can like snipe stuff from the bench. So, not too shabby. Get rid of problematic cards on the bench. But yeah, so unless we see some major changes with the Pokemon market, I don't know exactly, or it's just gonna be money up front for pre-orders, and then if I can't get it, you'll have to, move the money into something else. But it's to the point though. Like I said, I am just buried in so much Pokemon product. At this point, it's just not even worth it to really carry Pokemon, except for what I need here locally. And again, that's really the problem with locally too. It's really dried up here, so we're definitely seeing it. It is, our area is super hit or miss with Pokemon. It'll get super hot for a while, and then it will just dry out, and then it'll get hot again, and then it'll dry out as people move on to other hobbies. We have the Iron Hands EX. This one's pretty cool. Look at that sucker. Arm press. There we go. That's what I need to be doing later today, doing some arm presses. And amp you very much. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, take 1 more prize card. That's kind of cool. So some good old boss's order switcheroos if you can get enough energy on this sucker. That is pretty cool to get an extra prize by sniping out little small ones. And we have the Yvelta with the rare. So this box has been pretty good. We've actually hit quite a few decent cards right off the bat. And so I know tournaments and viewership on Pokemon is still quite hot compared to in the past. And I've noticed too a lot less of these type of stuff, like collectors. Like I don't see like the massive amount of people doing box openings for. And again, I'm not really on like other sites that do box openings much. I know there are a lot of people that do them as a full-time job of just opening boxes and shipping it off. But it sounds kind of miserable. I can do these every once in a while, but like I'm already like, how can I still keep this entertaining while opening up packs? And I don't want to be one of those channels that does the over editing too, where it's like, ooh, we got this hit here, and then it flashes up and I don't know. Maybe that's what people want these days. There's an earthen vessel. That is kind of cool. And ooh, a Kingdra into a Kingdra. Okay, Pokemon, you want me to play Kingdras, I guess. Kingdra into Kingdra, double rare, reverse foil and foil, right? And yep, you got the reverse and the normal in the same pack. Okay, see if this one has everything we are looking for. Dodonzo. Dodonzo's in this one again too. That is cool. I wonder if there's a Tapu Koko. Good old Tapu Koko EX. Kapow. And the basic of basic energies. It's the first time in a while too I've seen like a lot of these EXs go for super cheap. Usually like you could never find one for under like 50 cents because, you know, people doing repacks or like people buying these for, you know, shiny cards. A lot of kids, all they care about is EXs and shiny cards. And so there's always like a market for it. But I've noticed on TCG Player too that, man, there's been some cheap cards lately. Same thing with Magic. Like bulk rares never went below like 8 cents, and now you're seeing them everywhere. What's so funny about a lot of rares from Magic the Gathering is you're not even seeing bulk rares. You're seeing a lot of the cards that have been printed so many times in Commander, like the Game Trail type cards, those lands out of like Shadows of Innistrad. They've been printed so many times out of Commander decks that they're worth like nothing. So I mean, you can't find buyers for them. So they're worth like, you can pick them up online for like 7 cents. And even though they're like heavily played in Commander, the amount of Commander products, you know, 2 to 5% coming out has just completely, and now with like Doctor Who and Fallout and stuff like that, they've completely destroyed the value of even playable cards. That it's just, and I think that Pokemon and Magic, they kind of need to realize this when they print sets, is if they're having massively playable cards that they're having as you know, utility sales, like rares. These are supposed to be rares. There's a Crustle. That's kind of cool. The Crustle with his muscles. I guess he doesn't really have some muscles. He's a little crab there. I guess he's got some pretty good muscles on that crab. Yeah, so if you know, a card sees basically every like a Game Trail out of Magic the Gathering, sees play in every deck, in every red-green deck in Commander, yet it's only going for 7 cents, I think you have an overprinting problem at that point. Or at that point, it shouldn't even be a rare. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see where Wizard of the Coast is going to try to find ways to sell their future products that they've, you know, killed so much of the reprint. And the only way they can do it is power creeping. So I think that's one of the things that Pokemon has over it too, is they don't really need to rely on reprints. They can just keep designing more cards. And then people, you know, want to collect all the versions of different cards. Like, I want all the Charizards, so they'll go back and buy. That's actually a pretty nifty looking foil. That really, those dots on the edge there, that really pops. But anyway, yeah. Where was I going with this train of thought? So, Pokemon though, does have that good old track record of eventually the supply being diminished by people opening cards. It has that better. Ooh, we got the full art Chantal. Good old Chantal. Flip a coin, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot of Tails, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench. So either you switch or they switch. I guess either way, that could be useful. With the good old coin flips. Another thing I don't like with Pokemon is literally losing games because of coin flips. But they balanced it that way. They wanted it to have a big RNG factor with prizes. I was thinking about a way to make Pokemon better. And so, like, I hate prizes because a lot of times your key cards get stuck in your prize. And I know that it wants you to do, like, different type of deck building so that you don't play one-ofs. So if they do get stuck in prize, but now they balance the format with, like, Radiance, where you can only include one. And if your Radiant is super important to your deck and gets stuck in your prize, it's just a feel-bad scenario. And so I was thinking about how to balance it, and I think they should redo Pokemon with specifically prize cards. Like, prize cards should be a type. and then they just go in your prize pool. So you build a 60 card deck, and it's basically like a sideboard that you put in your prize. And a lot of them will trigger when you actually get them from your prize. Like they can do stuff. But I think that'd be a more interesting way. Look at that Xatu. I would have like 15 of these suckers. That'd be a more interesting way to balance Pokemon and not have that kind of variance of things getting stuck in your prize. But of course, they'd have to go back and like, okay, what can we put in prize? But I mean, they could just do it with like a new set going forward, and then they could have their old school formats that still use the regular prize. But I think that would get rid of some of the variance and frustration, and it would give a nice little new mechanic with prize-specific cards, like cards you want to get later on in the game rather than early in the game, or maybe include prize cards. There we go, the Golespot EX, or maybe even include prize cards that do enable like decks that want to go fast and get prize cards really, really quickly. Because there's like some super aggressive ones, or like a Pokemon they can be in your prize. But I think that'd be a fun little way to relook at how to do Pokemon. Because I think again, this is the problem with like Pokemon and Magic. Like Magic does a little better than Pokemon. Like they errat stuff and try to change things and try to like the mulligan rules and things. Whereas Pokemon's been pretty conservative with it. And there was just when they designed the game, they designed this 25 years ago. There are improvements that can be made to the overall design of the game. And like I think that they should be, more progressive, less conservative with that, of trying to figure out ways to make the game more interactive, more engaging, and whatnot. So that's one thing that I've noticed with playing Pokemon that I'd absolutely think would be a better change, is taking away one of the RNG's factors of the prize and fixing it. We have the Toxtricity. We have good old Toxtricity. So I guess that's the theme of this boost, or this set, is having fisting energy with lightning rather than sticking with the same types, which makes for kind of an interesting deck build experience, unless they're still just using the same energy, and then it's just not. Yeah. All right, we have the Snorlax doll, huh? So we get to make Snorlax dolls here. Professor Sada's Vitality. Cool. And nothing. So this box had some pretty decent hits in it. Down the rows. The Gilgar. I have to make a new pile here. This one's too big. Vanillish and Vanillux right in a row. Morpeko. We've seen Morpeko before. As I make a mess of things. Hey, that's kind of cool. That card that really pops. The Loudred. There is some cool arts in these. I do like this new. I think Pokemon has just knocked out of the park with Scarlet and Violet with some of these like full art stuff. That actually looks really, really sweet. Really cool. On the Loudred. Okay. Let's get on to the next stuff. I'm going to move some of these over because I need a bigger workspace, or I need to just clean up better. You guys can't see my mess of stuff I've got going on over here, but it is messy. So, guys, like my playmat, by the way, this old Dragon Shield. I was actually looking to see if I could still order these suckers, and you can't anymore. They are discontinued. This is my favorite playmat of all time. That old dragon shark-looking eel thing. That coolest playmat ever. Is there those sharks there? You guys can fight me if you don't think it's the best playmat. Maybe I'll get back to doing some Rogue Deck Builder playmats or Gone Rogue Game playmats. Jeez, the hits have cooled off in this box. And this pack does not want to open. So, of course, if it doesn't want to open, that means it has a hit in it, right? See if that Wife's Tale holds true. And it does not. We lied. We lied. maybe it was resealed in a sealed box. We actually had one of our Facebook, we have a 1-star rating on our business page because someone opened up a bad box and was convinced that we map boxes for Pokemon. Oh, good old customers. So, is it even... I hear it's possible to do it. I know that people like weigh Pokemon cards, but is that even profitable at that point? To like... So we have the Bombardier EX. Pretty sweet one here. If you go first, you can use this attack during your first turn. Your deck for 3 basic Pokemon and put them on your bench and shuffle. Okay, so you can use the attack just as a way to get your bench going. That is pretty sweet, actually. And then the Shadow Wind, you may put this Pokemon all attached cards into your hand. So then you can attack and then get it back in your hand and not have to worry about an EX card being a liability. Kind of sweet, actually. Goes and gets the basics, huh? 3 basic Pokemon. And puts them on your bench. You can get some key ones. So, pretty nifty little card. Again, I always like reading these things and then figuring out, exactly. Like that one's pretty sweet too because there's like I've been trying to build the mouse one that wants a bunch of them on your bench of this specific type, and that one could get it on there. And then it also, dish off 130. You could probably kill a utility Pokemon at that point, and then put it in your hand, then switch it with something like a Snorlax or something that can wait a turn before you can start assembling your combos. So, again, Pokemon, it is fun. I give it the credit. It is kind of a fun little game to theory craft and brew stuff with. We have the Sandy Shocks. The Sandy Shocks with the Magmatic Absorption. Once per turn, if your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards remaining, you may attach a basic Fisting Energy card from your discard pile to your Pokemon. That is pretty sweet if they have 4 or prize remaining, so if they're ahead. So yeah, if they've been taking prize from you. And not bad, and it doesn't need to be in the active spot either, right? Nope, it does not. It's going to be on your bench. Okay, good old Gilgar. A few more packs here to go. Yveltal and what's the other one? We've opened up a bunch of them, so 2 more packs to go. And we will take a look at our hits here and see how we did. Papow. This one has a bunch of nada in it, and let's see that let's knock the last pack for good luck, and see what we can crack. Shazam! We get a Miltank, and we get another Sandy Shock, and that's actually, wow, 2 Sandy Shocks in a row. They're both full arts, so neither one, they're both especially the silver and the gold versions of the double rares. So we got, hope you like Sandy Shocks, Tabian, because you get them. You get the Sandy Shocks. Not a bad little haul for the amount of packs we opened. So we get the double on the Sandy Shocks. So as far as get a bunch of, wow, so silver, gold, what do they call them? Secret rares, ultra rares, whatever. So there's the silver. That is a 1-star gold. God, I guess I should zoom out here. And then a 2. And this one is this one's a double as well, this Iron Hands. So wow, that's a pretty good haul. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. Get another 1-star with the Brute. And this is a promo. What was Rika? Rika was a double as well. Yeah, Rika was a double. Or the gold, silver, and normal. However you do them on rares. So not a bad haul whatsoever. That is pretty cool. Pretty good stuff. So not sure how many these are any actual huge hits here of what's this set's looking for. But all in all, I think it's a pretty good haul. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, don't know how much people like these type of box openings, but if you do want me to continue to do them, of course you can sponsor a box opening if you are a patron. And even if you're not, we can work something out as well. It's been Kevin with Gonro Games. Thanks for watching.